ese cholo.
What's up, familia? Welcome inside the pad. Hope you guys are doing good. Keep it between the lines. Got your load secure. All right, man. Got a special one. I rarely do this on Saturdays, but hey, here we are on the Sabbath, man. Got a special one. I want to chop it up with my brother. We'll get into how we met and all that good stuff, man. But for right now, let's go ahead and bring in my man from the 209, one Mr. Bean Loc.
What's happening, my brother? Salute to everybody in the chat. What's going on? What's going on, my G? How you doing?
Good, 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 dog. How about yourself, homie?
Man, I'm great. I'm blessed. You know, that's the best.
Yeah,
You know
dog.
what I mean?
It's what I say. Every day's a blessing, you know?
Simone, above ground,
Every
brother.
day's dog. It's starting to get warmed up, man. It's starting to get
Getting,
pretty hot out here, dog. So it's gonna be tougher to stay cool, Holmes.
yeah, it's getting warm up here too. Ain't no lie. You got to beat the heat.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I bet, dog. So you know what, Bean, and shouts to everybody who's in here, man. I got the chats up on the screen, but
For
you know
sure.
what, Bean, you came to mind, dog, because the way you and I met actually was through a charity boxing event, which we just passed the 5 year anniversary for. So I went ahead and I broke it down and all that stuff. I'm like, that's my boy Bean Lokester, man. But you
Yeah.
and I, we had breakfast, what, maybe about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, a month ago, something like that.
Yep. Yeah, we sure did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
was up in Modesto, man, and we went and had breakfast and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's my boy, man. Let me see. Let's get him on here. Maybe it was longer than that. Maybe it was more like 6 weeks ago. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, Holmes,
Yeah.
gracias, dog, for making the time to jump on here, homie.
Oh, man, you know what it is, brother. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Support and all that. Like you said. We go back 5 years for you. 5 years now, going into the fifth year. You know what I'm saying? 5 years. Yeah, about 5 years for sure, man. At that fight,
Uh,
you know what I'm saying, man. And it's a
that's
good thing to happen. You know.
that's crazy, dog. It doesn't feel like it's been 5 years already, dog. You
I
know,
know. Yeah, that is crazy. It went by fast, brother. It went by fast.
but you and I truly started connecting. I mean, that's where we met. But you and I truly started connecting. I think at the opening to the new facility at House of Rest Church.
Yes,
From
sir.
there, yeah, from there, you and I started keeping in closer contact, dog. And
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I've always told people that, oh yeah, man, Bean Loc, that's my boy right there, man. That's my boy. And I've always said, there's nobody on YouTube. There's nobody on YouTube that I keep more in contact, even though it's just a text, than I do
Mhm.
with Bean Loc, because Bean Loc always shoots me a text like, hey, buenos dias, hermano, good afternoon, hermano, hey, good evening, carnal, everything like that. And I'm always a little thumbs up, like, hey, gracias, brother, I'm here, I appreciate it, man. There's
Yeah.
nobody else on YouTube, dog, that I keep in contact with than I do with you like that, dog. So I appreciate that, big dog. Appreciate it a lot, man. But Bean Lokester, let's get into Bean Lok for a second, dog. Okay, where'd you grow up at? Siblings, all that stuff, man. Where'd you reside at and all that?
Yeah. Well, shit. I'm from Modesto, Northern California. The west side of my town where I be at. Where I raised at. And I got three sisters. I got two brothers. Let me take that back. Let me see, one, two, three. I got five brothers. I'm gonna take that back. Yeah, you know, but yeah, man. I grew up over here on the west side of my town, Modesto. Rough side of town. Grew up in the neighborhoods. You know how that goes. You
Hmm.
know, neighborhood stories. You know how that is. You know what I mean?
Do
Enjoyed all
you
of it too. You know.
do do you know all your siblings?
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Do
do.
you? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I spend time with them too, all of them. You know.
Okay. All right. The reason why I say that, dog, the reason why I ask that is because, like, I got one brother, right? Just
Yeah.
one brother, just me and my brother. But through my dad, who I don't really know too much, he had a gang of kids, man. So in reality, I came to find out that I got, like, I don't know, like 10 siblings.
Wow.
And I met one in person. She's my younger sister, but I don't really keep in contact. She lives out in Texas, you know.
Okay.
And then I I've talked to another sister of mine, an older one. I've never seen her or met her though. And I'm in contact with another brother of mine, half brother. I've never met him in person. I just follow him through Instagram.
Okay.
But that's it. But I got like a gang of siblings out there, dog. That I don't know who they are. So, but if anybody were to ask me, hey, how many siblings do I have? I would just say I got a brother because
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
why I say when I did my first count, I just did the immediate ones that I, grew up with,
right,
But I
right, yeah,
got some from my father. That part, same thing. I got some from my father. You know what I mean? So that's my three brothers I have over there, and a sister. I'm sorry, I'm gonna take that back, and a sister. But
right.
yeah, same thing. But I go there every year. I go down over there to Lancaster, down south to Lancaster, to see my pops all the time. Every year, I take my time to go down there and go see them. You know what I mean? It's been a good week, good 2 weeks or a week or so. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about heat, dog. If people want to feel heat, you go to Lancaster during the summer.
Yeah, yeah, you ain't lying. That's the desert. Hey, where's it at? Just the ways over there, huh? What is it? Where the concert was at? Same thing. It's down the ways, like an hour or so away from the concert I seen you at over there. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's hot.
yeah,
It's hot out.
out in I think what was it, Adelanto, I think it was. So
Yeah,
it's
Hesperia,
like
Hesperia. No, is that Hesperia?
Hesperia, yeah,
Yeah,
Hesperia, Victor, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
but
Victoria. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Lancaster is, like the desert of Los Angeles,
Yeah,
man.
desert. Exactly. Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, dog, oh man, it gets
Yeah,
hot over there, dog. Yeah, man. So
yeah,
okay, man. Okay, okay. So you got quite a few siblings and everything.
yeah,
Ah, that's cool, man. That you got a little bit of contact with all of them and everything.
yeah.
So being So, all right, man. I mean, we can get into the whole gang life and street life and everything, but I mean, so many people went through that, dog. I kind of
Mhm.
actually want to get to when did you actually start making a movie that to change your life? Was there something in your life that happened? Did you have of an epiphany? Where did you just get tired? Was it a slow process? Was it a snap of a finger? Where do you think if you go back, dog, in your think tank and say like, hmm, I think it started with this. Like
Yeah.
where would you think where you're like, hey, you know what, man, I kind of started changing my life. Maybe you didn't even know it. Maybe it wasn't even a decision. But
Simone.
where do you think was the start on that?
Yeah, well, we all have demons, you know what I mean? We all battle with them, and as mine, it was alcohol, I could say. I was a binge drinker, you could say. I drink a Friday, go to bed 4 or 5 in the morning to get up, drink again, you know what I'm saying? That whole Saturday, go to bed. Sunday, recuperation and all that stuff. So you know, as young, young drinking, didn't think it was a problem. It was normalized around us, around me, normalized. So I didn't think it was a problem, you know, until it started creating problems. You know what I'm saying? Got a DUI. Um, Sometimes, like, you couldn't take care of your car right. You know what I'm saying? You dent it or, get into an accident or just stuff that, nonsense stuff that, I'm not saying for everybody alcohol is a demon, but for me, you know what I'm saying? That was my demon. You know what I'm talking about? So, and I didn't know. I thought it was normalized, like I said, normalized, and I thought it was right. You thought it was okay, until you see what you do when you're on it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like every people is different. Some people are happy drunk. Some people are violence. Some people just act a fool. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, so, for me, for myself, had problems because like money, uh, you know, just not making be in places where I'm supposed to be because I had a headache or I had a hangover, kind of lagging on life a little bit. You know what I'm saying? As you could say, because of the alcohol, and yeah, just drinking out through being young. You know how we do it out through the streets as a youngster. It was normalized to be drinking as a adult. I came in as a adult drinking and drinking, and I started realizing that it was a problem for me. I don't know for other people, but for me, you know, um,
And
because
being
it
real,
does.
I don't mean to cut you off, but when did you start drinking?
When I was young, I say a teenager. I'm gonna say about So my first beer I had, I was 10 years old. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie, I was 10. You know?
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Okay, okay. So the first time, like, if anybody ever asked me, like, when's the first time I drank? Okay, the first time I tasted a beer, I was probably like 5 from mi tío Martin. You know what I mean? From
yeah,
my uncle, let me
yeah,
take a swig of a beer, but I
yeah,
didn't. I wasn't drinking from 5 on. You know what I mean? When I actually started
yeah.
drinking on a normal basis was probably more like in the, I mean, I don't know, 12, 13 years old, maybe a little bit more teenage years. So,
That's what I said, teenage. But I tasted the beer around 10 years
right.
old. Yeah, around 10 years old. You know, on a
Okay,
birthday.
and when you first started drinking, was it consistent? Were you going? Was it a problem right from the rip, or were you drinking and then it built up later on to be a problem?
It built up to be a problem. That's what it did.
Okay,
But yeah, when I first started, it was, I there was no problems. I mean, it was because we like recreational was being celebrated. We'd celebrate, get together, drink. Fridays. You know how it goes. Everybody in the spot, everybody drinking. Doing their thing in the spot. There's a lot of us. And back in the '90s, you know how we grew up, '80s and '90s. In the '90s, man, we're outside. There's a lot of us out there. There's not too much social media, so we're out there. You know what I'm saying? And as youngsters and teenagers, that's what we did in the '90s. You know what I'm saying? Hang out at the spot. Wherever you was at, drink some beers, and smoking some weed. You know what I mean? As we do and do what we do as youngsters. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, teenage years, man. It was the teenage years where I started drinking like that, and and as it goes, yeah, it built a problem for sure. For me, like I said, for me, myself, other people could be different. You know what I mean? Different strokes, different folks. But yeah, problems as, money problems, because it costs a lot of money, and like I said, having headaches, not being there, you know what I mean? Having hangovers and not being there, you know what I mean? Because you're not, fully there, fully functioning, especially if you have kids to take care of, you know what I'm saying? And then, them seeing you like that too, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a thing of drinking, like having one or two, socializing, and it's good, and then there's a where you just I couldn't stop. I keep going, you know what I mean? Keep swigging, keep drinking. As soon as I hope we got a whole 18 pack down, you know what I'm talking about, and a shot of tequila, you know what I'm saying? And now, I see it, now that I'm sober and I see it, I was like, man, that was a problem for me, you know what I mean? You know,
Let's okay. All right, because as like a teenager and everything, you don't
yeah,
really have that many responsibilities too much, to really look at. I mean, school and I mean, you have some responsibilities, right? But you don't really pay attention that much until you become an adult. And then
yeah,
you have adult responsibilities, and it's like,
yeah,
wow, this really actually cost me. I
yeah.
remember, man, I remember like being young, right? If you didn't have like older homies around to buy you beer at the time,
Mm.
mofos would do beer runs, dog.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you go in the liquor store,
oh, yeah,
you get like 2 18 pack, you just run out that sucker, man,
oh,
right?
yeah,
And then or sometimes you would scope out, dog, at the liquor store, and you'd be like, nah, you know what? You think that fool right there will buy us some beer? You have the Fetty on you, and it's like, you think that dude will buy some pisto right there? Nah, not that guy, dog. You know what I mean? Then you see some vato roll up and then like a Ford Primero Ranchero or something. Maybe he's got penalties. All like, hey, I think that dude will buy it for us, dog. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, here's some feria. Buy yourself a beer, whatever. You come out with the
yeah.
pisto and everything. You know what, Being going through that, Holmes, I would never in my life buy beer for if some
I
youngster.
wouldn't either. You know what? I'm going to tell you. I had somebody ask me that, a youngster tell me that, and I told him I can't do it, man. You know what I mean? I'm not here for no trouble or nothing like that, but I ain't here to get in trouble either. You know what I'm saying? So I had a youngster do that, and we call it over here. We call it back then. It was tap a shoulder. Tap a shoulder, like, hey,
Yeah,
but like you said, you got to be familiar. You know what I mean? Like you say, you got to have a pencil on. You got to have those bins on, the white tee, or somebody, that you can be familiar. Like, all right, I think he'll do it for me. So it's a tap a shoulder, tap a shoulder, like, hey, 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 can you give me a 40? I buy you a 42. You know what I mean? But
right.
yeah, I remember those days, man. And like you said, I had actually have a youngster come up to me and be like, hey, and I was like, nah, man, yeah, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah,
yeah,
it's different
yeah.
now. Exactly,
Yeah,
brother. It's different.
it's definitely different, dog. Looking at it back then, that some things that adults did. Then today, I'm like, man, nah, I would never do that today, dog. I would never have, youngsters come up to me and be like, hey, he looks cool, dog. Hey, can you buy some beer? I'm like, nah, dog, nah, I can't buy no stuff, dog.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah.
Back then, it's like, you know what? Nah, I don't think that person was. Oh, look, here's this dude rolling up in an El Camino, primer door. Hey, he's got a couple of, he's got some lokes on. Yeah, I think this will, hey, can you buy some pisto, dog? Buy yourself a 40, whatever. Yeah, cool, dog. I
Yeah.
can go in there and
Yeah.
get it. Yeah, yeah. Definitely things have changed, man. Definitely
Yes, they
things have
have.
changed, man.
Yes, they have.
So, all right, man. So, being where around, like around what age or what year that you can recall when you started actually noticing, like, man, I don't know, maybe this is a little bit of a problem. I mean, did people get at you? Did people get at you, dog? That was like, hey, you know what, you're doing this or you're doing that, and like, damn, man,
Yeah.
messing up.
Yeah. I started getting tired of it. Tell you the truth, I got tired of the hangovers and stuff, bro. I just like it didn't bust I didn't get big eye over it no more. Like, oh, we're gonna drink on Friday. Let's go. Get all excited. Yeah, we're gonna have this. We're gonna have this drink, that drink, this drink. And I started, just it didn't float my boat no more. And then I was like, let me see. I'll say I was probably around 39, 40, right? And I ran into one of my old partners he's older than me. He's probably in his 50s. You know what I'm saying? His older 50s. And I ran into him. And then, me, I'm a gym body, even though I drank, I still worked out and all that stuff. You know what I mean? That's why, hard work, that's why I look the way I look, because, I've been getting it in for a long time. Even though I did drink, I still worked out. I still kept myself in shape, but I drank, you know what I mean? So, but I ran into one of my old buddies, one of my old school partners, man. And he's, like I said, he's an older cat, way older, and I seen him, I was around 39, 40 years old. And I seen him, and he was like, he goes, oh, how you doing? We to talk to each other, embrace each other. How you doing, brother? Because he's an OG, older than me. And they say, how you doing, man? I said, I'm doing good, man. He said, he goes, you got to start taking care of yourself, right? And I said, well, why, what's going on? He goes, man, when you turn 40 years old, man, he goes, things starts changing in your life, man. You're going to have to start, I don't know what habits you got or what changes you need to make, but, I'm just telling you because, I'm an OG and I'm going to let you know what's happening because I'm right here. I'm sitting at this age for this reason. So I'm going to let you know, I'm going to give you some game, and I was still blind by the alcohol, you could say, or whatever, you know what I mean? But, so he was telling me, explaining to me that I got to take care of myself. If you want to be there for your people, you're going to have to take care of yourself, man, and you're going to have to find a change within yourself, what you got to change for yourself to make yourself a better person and be better for all your people around you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And yeah. And then so when he told me that, I took that and I thought about it, and I put it in my head, you know what I mean? And serious change.
Around how old were you at that time?
I was around 39, going to be 40.
Okay, so just to paint a picture, dog, just to paint a picture, like you went your 20s and pretty much all your 30s just be standing all the time.
Yeah, drinking. Yes,
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, binge drinker, as you could say. Those ones that drink it, like I said, I drink till 4 in the morning, sleep for a few hours, get up, have some breakfast or whatever, and some menudo, and get at it again. Talk about I was gonna sober myself up, but hey, after one, after another, it kept going. You know what I mean? So then as soon as I was, I didn't know how to stop. As soon as I was buzzed up too much. You know what I mean?
I
You
mean,
know,
no, dog. Look, I mean,
soon as
it
I was
definitely.
looking, I get all drunk and I'd put the oldies on and start dancing. That's when I was gone. You know what I mean? That's just me though, bro. I don't know about other people, but like me, like I'd get, like I said, I'd get all drunk and then the oldies would come on and I'd be in the garage and I'd be then there getting my gangster boogie on dancing. You know what I mean? So that's what
Yeah.
music, what happened with
No,
me.
and Droop's right here saying, the weekend warrior. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you would go like the whole week,
Yeah,
not drinking, just waiting for the weekend,
yeah,
just waiting
exactly.
for the weekend. Like, oh man, I can't wait to just crack a nice cold one open, dog. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't wait to get it, dog, on the weekend, and then the weekend hits, and boom, dog. Your whole weekend, you're dog, you're not sober the entire weekend. You know what I mean? Even though you wake up, you're still all groggy headed and everything. Like, oh man, I'm still kind of feeling it, and it's like, let me crack one
Yeah, that
open.
got
Just
old. gets old. Huh?
Yeah, let me crack one open to get rid of the cruda. It's like, you know what? That one went down pretty good, dog. Let me see
Yeah.
another one, dog. You know what I mean? And then next thing you know, homie, you're feeling partied out, dog. And just like, let's keep it going,
Yeah, as
dog.
soon as you know you got the oldies on it, you just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You getting it. Eh? Yeah.
yeah, dog.
Yeah.
So okay, so obviously, man, your life was different from your 20s into your 30s. So your 20s, you didn't to you, it was just kind of like, hey, this is just part of life.
Yeah, it was normalized. Hey, it was normalized for us to, hey, we're gonna get a pack. This barbecue, we're gonna get a pack. We got some beers, Modelos or whatever, Pacificos or Coronas or whatever, and a bottle of tequila, the Blanco, you know what I mean, or some good tequila from Mexico. You know what I'm saying? And when I was a lot younger, I used to drink Hennessy, but as I got
Mhm.
older, I started turning to the tequila. I went back to my raza, so I started drinking tequila. And
You,
yeah, it was always like that, big eyed, and like I said, I got tired of it. Didn't really float my boat no more, And I had ran
oh,
into my old school.
well, I'll tell you this, Holmes. I'll tell you this. When I was younger, I would drink things that once I got a little bit older, I'm like, damn, I got no idea how. Like 211s, man, homie, that just a whiff of that will make me want to throw up today, dog. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? 211s and just all kinds of things. So I'm like, damn, how the hell did I drink that, dog? You
yeah,
know what I
yeah. I
mean?
hear you. I hear you.
That sounds just nasty, dog. Like disgusting. Just the smell of it would just make me like, ugh, you know.
Yeah, yeah. That's
But yeah,
that's us 90s and 80s guys. At 90s, they drinking what MD 2020, Night Train. When you're a teenager, that's nasty stuff. Old English. You know what I
oh, the English, dog. Like, dog, just a whiff of an OE today will make
mean?
you want to throw up. Like, that's nasty, dog.
Yeah,
I mean, but
yeah, yeah.
we used to take them down, dog. Once back in the day, yeah, you used to take them down, man. But so, all right, man. So you go through your 20s, your 30s, and we're towards like your late 30s
Mm.
when homie told. Were you already kind of feeling it as well? Have you ever questioned yourself, like, I don't know, man, maybe I need to stop before older homie got at you?
Yeah, yeah. That's what was going on with me. I was doing that. I was questioning that. I was, bro, and I started turning towards the Lord for that. You know what I'm saying? I started praying, bro. Straight up. I started praying because I'm human. I'm a strong-minded person. I could say because but I started. That's when I started turning to Jesus, man. I'm talking about started. I mean, I already had him. I already knew. We all know. You know what I'm saying? As growing up, and us, the people that we are. We all been first communions or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We all been through. We know who Jesus is. You know what I'm saying? But when you turn your heart, when you start turning, to the light, things start to change. Um, yeah, bro. I started, like I said, I started praying. I started, my heart started going towards the light. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, um, I just,
And how did that come to be, being, because just like you said, right, like I grew up, you know God and everything like that, but I mean I never walked that walk, Holmes. You know what I mean? It was just like, all right, yeah, I believe in God and everything. And my mom was into God and all that stuff, or is, right.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so I mean, I knew I've been to church and all that stuff, but I mean, I wasn't walking that walk, dog, back then. Whenever anybody will bring it up, I'll be like, yeah, dog, I believe, but ain't no way I was following that, right? So
exactly.
when did you say did you start taking uh the walk with God a little bit more serious at first?
Yeah, that's around that same time, man. Around my late 30s, and coming into my 40, being 40, I started taking it serious. I did, man. And I'm getting towards my late 30s, bro. I started getting real, and I started knowing that I have, for me, like I said, it was a problem, my own thing, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Each teach its own. But yeah, for me, I just felt like there was just something, that I felt that I had to change, for me to change, for me to go to be a better man and to be a gentleman, be just better at whatever I'm doing, you know what I mean? To go further, because like you're the only one stopping yourself, and you have to find your demon or your problem that you have, and you got to defeat it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm human, and I turned to Jesus, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, he's always going to be there for you. Like I said, like you said, you know, we've been to church, we know, you know, and we're, you know, yeah, somebody say, be like, yeah, yeah, you know, but when you start turning to the light, you know what I mean? It's things start changing, you know, yeah, like my late 30s, bro, I started, you know, started my ways, you know what I mean? I started turning to the light, brother, you know, and then
And,
I had the older guy talk to me, and it, you know, the ball started rolling more, you know what I mean?
mhm.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about that, man. So explain like what do you mean specifically? Like, did you start going to church a little bit more? Did you start cracking open the Bible a little bit more? Did you start praying a little bit more? Like, what
Yeah,
was it?
I started going to church. I started going to church. I started praying more. I started praying more. My prayers, you know, I when I prayed, you know, when I met my change, I prayed with my heart. You know what I mean? I didn't just pray it with my mouth or just with words out of my brain. I prayed with my heart. You understand? It came from right here. It didn't come from, you know, it came from my heart. I prayed with my heart. You know what I'm saying? I meant it, and I meant for change. And like I said, I'm human. I needed help. You know what I mean? So when I reached out, you know, he was there for me.
Did you seek any help, dog, or was it just God? Did you seek any help, like
No, I didn't seek no help, brother. It was just God. It was just Jesus. It was God, brother. It was like you said, epiphany, or a divine moment, or whatever, you know, however you want to say it. You know, yeah, I didn't go for no help, bro. It was just like I said, I was doing praying with my heart. You know, praying for change. And like I said, it was my late 30s. You know, and yeah, bro, and you know, and he's there, he's real, people's. You know, if you don't know, you know, he's just. But you have to do it with your heart, and you got to mean it. You know what I mean? You got when you do that. You know what I'm saying? And the change will be there for you. He's there to help, not to. You know what I'm saying? He's always will be there, always will be there, brother. You know, that's what I know. You know what I mean?
I'm look, I'm with you, dog, and even to this day, Holmes. Sometimes I'll go ahead and I'll say a prayer, and then I'll have to stop, and I'll be like, man, I just said word, man. I didn't even mean that. So I'm like, man, let me stop what I'm doing, and let me actually pray with my heart, Holmes. You know what I
Yes,
mean? 'Cause,
yes,
yeah, there's times where I'm like, all right, let me on my way to work, and I'm gonna pray while I'm driving, and uh and then sometimes I realize like I I didn't connect, homie. I didn't connect, dog. Let me actually hang on, take a chill pill, and let me actually connect and pray with my heart. It was just me saying a bunch of words, dog. So um all right, so let's talk about the actual quitting part. Was it cold turkey?
cold
Was
turkey,
it
brother. Cold
really?
turkey, yes, sir. Cold turkey, cold turkey.
Okay, explain that, dog. So, do you remember the last time you drank?
Yes, sir. I sure do. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. Well, let me tell you. No, I got you. I got you,
yeah,
Simon.
yeah. So, did you know it was gonna be the last time you drank?
Did I know it was gonna be my last time? Yes, I did. Yeah, I did know, bro. I made that decision that night, and I did know, bro. I did know it was gonna be done. It was gonna be done,
Okay.
brother. Yeah.
Okay. And wow, dog. Okay, that's hey, man, that's something else. I mean, some people, it takes them a little while, dog. And
Right.
but you went cold turkey. Was there any withdrawals?
No, I no withdrawals, brother. No withdrawals at all, bro. Thank God, you know. But it's like I said, it's the power of prayer, bro. You gotta. I meant it with my heart. I want to change, and like I said, I had a divine moment or epiphany, as you say, you know, and it was. You see, I was like I said, late 30s, started changing my ways, started going towards the light. You know what I'm saying? My heart, and I was 40. I turned 40 years old on my birthday. 40 years old. I drank. I was 40. I had turned 40 on my birthday. I drank. And then that night I was in the garage. I was crying, praying and crying and praying with my heart. And I didn't want that. I don't, I was done. I was done. I was tired. And he saved me, brother. And that was from, the next day I woke up, I was done. That was it.
Okay.
Basically, that night in the garage, I was drunk. I was praying hard with my heart. I was tired. I was tired of it, I needed help. And I needed to conquer that demon, and That night he came. He came to me. You know, he said it's gonna be all right. So the next day I woke up, nothing. I had no desire. I had no. I had. It was gone, bro. It was gone. It was gone.
Were you trying to quit before that time at all, or no?
Yeah, I was slowing it down. Yes, I was. I was slowing down. I was moderating it. I was slowing down. Like I said, I was in like it didn't float my boat no more. I was in like getting all excited. Oh, I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna drink, and I got tired of having headaches and tired of just being hungover. And like you know what I'm saying. It was like like I said, sometimes you're not there because you got headaches. You know what I'm talking about. You've been drinking all night. You know what I'm saying. You just it didn't help. It didn't help no situation for me. You know what I mean?
I,
And
I man, I look, I tell everybody this, dog. Like when I was young, I'm sure people could relate to this. You might get a hangover here and there, but you can still get up and do things. You still, run around and do whatever it is. But recovering was pretty fast. I noticed once you got older, and if you went hard on the alcohol, homie, it would take you. It's gonna take you about 2-3 days.
exactly. Yeah, that's what happened, brother. That's what was going on with me, man. It was taking through. I'd go to work and be all crudo, drinking a lot of water, trying to sweat it out, running around work, trying to sweat it out, drinking it, and I wouldn't get right for like I said, it started taking too long to get right. I've been sitting on Wednesday, going to work on Wednesday, barely getting right. All right, my insides feel good, they feel all right. My liver's good now. I'm good, right? So after Wednesday, I'm finally getting better, right? And I'm okay. Now comes Thursday. I'm just barely getting better for one day or so. Now comes Friday. Boom, there it goes again. I'm destroying my liver and my kidneys again, bro. Destroying them. Just all over again. The cycle all over again, bro. Like you said, as I got older, they started getting longer. The crudo,
Yeah.
menudo and everything. You could try everything. Nah, nah. It just started getting longer, and yeah, bro. And I got tired of it, and I started moderating it and start slowing down. I did start slowing down before I went cold
Yeah.
turkey that night, bro.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, once upon a time, you go hard, and all you need is one day to relax, and then boom, there you
Yeah,
recover. But
bounce
then
back. Yeah,
at some point, it became 2 days, then it became 3 days, and then next thing you know, dog, you're like 3.5 days. It's like, okay, now I'm starting to feel, back to myself, dog. And now you're right. Here comes the weekend again. Y sópatelas otra vez, and
yeah. You only get a few days to let that liver rest.
yeah, and I don't think people really take into consideration, man. A lot of people have been drinking from an early age every weekend. I mean, some do it every day, but every weekend, dog. And it's like that's a lot of damage, man. It's a lot of damage that's really gonna hurt you later on in life, man. So, I'm not, like you said, some people can go ahead and have a beer or two every once in a great while, cool. But yeah, I mean, just like you, dog, growing up, homie, like we always drank, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kicking with the homies and everything.
yeah,
We always drank. I
yeah,
never I never went a weekend without drinking, dog, kicking it with homies,
yeah.
and I want to go and say this too, Bean Loc. I realized this, dog, like kicking it with homies, not drinking, like you realize, like, what are we doing then? Like we're just kicking it. I kick it with some homies, dog, right? And if we don't drink, it's like, all right, cool. I realize 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. It's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go home now because we're
Yeah,
not drinking. You know what I mean?
exactly.
It's like, cool, dog, still got love for homies and everything like that. But
Yeah,
it was the alcohol that brought everybody together. Let's all get drunk. Let's all kick it for 8 hours or kick it to like 3 in the morning. You know what I mean? Get into all kinds of stupid stuff and everything like that.
exactly.
But if nobody's drinking, if there's no you kick it together
Mm.
and you realize like, all right, it's been like 2.5 hours. All right, man, I'm gonna get up out of here, dog. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, it gets boring. That's why
yeah,
I just sitting around there all bored, like
yeah, dog. It's like, okay, man, I don't need to be kicking with all kinds of vatos all the time, dog. You know what I mean? We kicked it all the time because we were always getting drunk, getting all
Yeah,
drunk and stupid, dog. But
yeah,
if we're all sober, it's just like, all right, cool. You know what? I mean, we'll kick it. I don't know, maybe watch a ball game on TV or something. But I mean, what is it that we're really gonna do? So for everybody who is out there wanting to kick it with homies all the time and everything, understand, do it soberly, and then you can realize, like, I mean, what are we doing? Like,
Right.
I don't even kick it with homies all the time,
Yeah.
dog. You know what I mean? You're only doing it because you're drinking or whatever it is that whatever substance you're taking, dog. But
Yeah.
outside of that, like, that's cool. I got homies, I got love for them and anything. We'll kick it once in a great while, but every
Yeah.
weekend, nah, dog, because we're not drinking. I don't, be
Yeah.
kicking it with them every weekend, dog. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so all right, dog. So you went cold turkey, dog.
Yeah.
Did you ever? So it's been a few years already.
Yeah.
It's been a few years for you. Okay. Did you ever at some point feel, get the ganas to do it, feel the need to do it? Because I've kicked it with you, dog. I've
Yeah.
kicked it with you.
For
You've
sure.
been you've been around it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you've
No.
been around alcohol.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, dog.
Yeah.
Like
Nah. I didn't. It didn't bother me,
I
brother.
we went to a concert. You've been around alcohol with people kicking it right there in front of you, drinking.
Yeah.
So did it ever come to you like, man, maybe just one?
Nah. Nah. Nah, just it never has, brother. It never has came to mind or has just it never it just don't bother me. It doesn't bother me. It's just the way I see it like this, man. Is we're born without it. So why there's no reason for me to put it in my body if I don't need it. You know what I mean? I need water, you know what I mean? I need food. I don't need alcohol. I don't need to it just don't bother me. Like, yeah, it could be right in front of me, right around me, all of it. And it doesn't bother me at all. Nothing. I just what it is, bro, is I got a pact with my Lord, with my Jesus. I got something with Jesus and God. You know what I mean? That nobody could get. You know what I'm talking about? So, and I like the respect too, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Because like you, like, oh, you don't drink, like, damn. You know what I'm saying? And that makes me feel good, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because there's respect behind that. Because why? Because I respect myself as a person, as I respect my body. I only get one body, one liver, one kidney, one person, one attitude, one everything. You know what I'm saying? And it's me. Each teach his own. Like I said, everybody, do what they do. They do what they want to do with themselves. But me, I take myself serious. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, and that's what it's about. You know what I mean? It's just it's on you. So
Because I had known you for a while until I found out when I found out that you didn't drink, and I'm like, oh damn, you don't drink, and you're like, yeah, nah, man, I haven't drank in quite a few years, and you're right, dog. There's something that comes up where it's like alcohol, unlike other stuff, dog. Unlike other stuff, like any drugs or weed or anything like that, right? Alcohol is one of those things that when you say you don't drink, people immediately are like, why? Like, what's up? Like
yeah, that comes to mind all the time.
it's
They
it, it's
say that.
always it's always like smoking weed or something, right? If somebody says like, hey, you smoke, it's like, nah, I don't smoke. It's like, oh, all right, cool, whatever. But hey, man, you know what? You want a beer? I don't drink. Oh, damn. Like, man, like, why? Like if it's almost a problem that you don't drink.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
it's one of those things, dog. And I'm like, wow, dog, alcohol is really thrown around out there, man. I mean, we got the commercials and everything and of that sort, and so you being sober for so long now, dog. What
Mm.
are the changes in your life? What are the changes in your body, your mental health, all that good stuff, dog? Because I see you,
Man,
I see you
yeah.
posting. I mean,
Oh
my
yeah, I've
my
been
boy,
there.
ooh, my boy,
I get
swole, dog.
I
I'm
get
telling
I,
you,
I get there,
man.
bro. I get in there. I turned my whole life and turned everything to have what I have now. But like I said, I always been in a gym body. I always been in the gym. But yes, sir. And that's all natural too. You know what I mean? I don't mess around with nothing else that's gonna hurt myself. I'm all natural out, and I get in there and as you see, this is what you get when you make your changes for yourself. You know what I'm talking about? If it's up to you. It's yourself stopping yourself. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
I like working out. Myself personally, I like working out. I love it. You know what I mean? It feels good. You know what I mean? To be healthy. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of changes came along, money wise, um, a lot of things, conversation wise, everything. I see everything different now. Like we were. consumed in that stuff, normalized in drinking, you know what I mean? Normalized in that, and where, when you see things in a clouded mind, you're gonna see a clouded picture. You know what I'm talking about? But when you got a clear mind and you see in your heart, your heart's with the light, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna see things in a different way. You start to see things clearer, start seeing things better in life. You know what I'm saying? You start knowing what you really want. You wanted things when you were blind. Everybody wants things. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
like I said, when you're a sober minded person, you see things clear, you see everything you want and clear in life, what you want, you know what I'm saying? Manifesting things, everybody, me, I want, like I said, I did my changes for myself, my health, my family, everybody around me, showing examples, showing the people, examples of, what you can accomplish, you know what I'm saying? Because I used to drink, you know what I mean? I got my swig on, I ain't gonna lie, you know?
Yeah, man. I've said this before, dog. I said this before that man, like I've always been pretty athletic, right?
Yeah.
Always, man. But dog, I did absolutely nothing with it. Through my teenage years, my younger years, I've always been pretty athletic, but I didn't do a damn thing with it, dog. Why? Because I just wanted to be, drinking, smoking, hanging out with homies, dog, getting into trouble and all that stuff. And I'm like, damn, dog. And now that I look back at it, I'm like, man, I was pretty damn athletic, dog. I really was, but I didn't do anything with it. I didn't play any sports. I didn't do nothing, dog, and I'm just like, damn, man, so it costs us, man. It costs us, and it's time that you'll never get back.
Yes.
It's time that you'll definitely never get back, man. So that's definitely something to think about. So all right, dog, so I mean, you working out now, because I see you working out, I see you getting it, dog. You're ripped. I went to go have breakfast with you. I'm like, damn, dog, look at this vato, man. You got dog.
Yeah. Oh
No,
yeah.
what is the goal for you just hitting the gym? Do you have a goal, or is it's just something that you just do on a regular routine?
It's a lifestyle, brother. It's a lifestyle. Yeah, there's always goals behind it for sure. There's always goals. The gain. I'm trying to get mass. Get bigger. There's always a goal to it. And don't ever put no age on it. And it's a lifestyle for me. It's a lifestyle. So I mean, rest is always good because that's the only way you grow. Because you got to rest. Don't be in the gym 24 hours. It's not gonna help. It's not gonna help. You know what I mean? But to me, I'm into gaining and getting big. You know what I'm saying? I do my cardio. And I do my crunches, my stomach, and all that too. But I'm trying to get big, big. Getting big. So I have my rest days, and but it's just a lifestyle, bro. You know what I mean? It's a lifestyle. Yeah, I like I said in the past, I've done it. Even when I was drinking, I still worked out, but I didn't work out as I do now because those things were in the way. So now there's nothing in the way. So now I'm in there in my mind, I'm set, and I'm my body, my health and everything's set. You know what I mean? I'm set. I'm ready to go. I stay ready, so I don't have to get ready. I'm ready with Jesus in my heart, and I'm ready physically and mentally, brother. So if any challenges or anything comes to me, or even if life hits me, I'm going to be strong minded, as long as I have that in my heart, and that's all you need, man. And like I said, life could hit you, and the only love you need is Jesus' love, man, and that'll get you past everything. And if you have problems, give them to him, and you'll be right. I'm telling you guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, we all have our flaws, man. I was just
Yes,
talking
sir.
to Pastor David yesterday, as a matter of fact, and we all still have our flaws. It's not like anybody's gonna be perfect. Everybody's still gonna,
We're human.
but everybody is always gonna be under construction. To the day they die. So it's not like, well, you know what, you give your life to the Lord, or hey, God, help me out here, and next thing you know, it's like, boom, you live this ultimate clean life, dog, that is perfect, because that's not gonna happen. We're also, we're still gonna have flaws, and everybody, like I said, everybody's still gonna be under construction
Mm.
until the day comes, and we're gone. So with that, Bean Loc, man, dog, I could just resonate with a lot of what you were saying, dog, because I used to drink a lot.
Yeah.
I used to drink a lot. People ask me today, they're like, hey, do you still drink? Do I still drink? And I'm like, I don't want to say no because if I do want to enjoy myself a beer or two, I will. I definitely don't drink like I used to. Heck, on YouTube, I used to drink. Dog. I used to stay up till like 3 in the morning, dog. When I first
Yeah,
got
you had
on.
that Jack and Coke, didn't you?
Yeah, dog.
I
Yeah,
remember. You said that Jack and Coke. I seen
yeah,
you doing it. Yeah, yeah.
dog. Yeah, and then I'm like, man, you know what? I just like I remember my brother. He went sober, like completely sober, right?
Mm,
And he used to drink Bud Ice, Holmes. Bud Ice. Good gosh, dog.
yeah,
And he was a true alcoholic. He'd drink every day. He'd drink at work, right? He works in construction. And he
yeah.
tells me he tells me all the dudes in construction, they all drink. And he tells
Yeah.
me, hey, you know what? Everybody's house was built by a bunch of dudes, man, that were under the influence, man, because
Right.
everybody's drinking on the
This
site,
works like
man.
yeah,
Yeah, the dog.
yeah.
So like, all right, and she said one day, man, and he has gotten like 7 DUIs. He went to prison multiple times, dog, for DUIs. And one day he said he was just drinking, and then he just looked at it. He was like halfway done. He said, like, man, damn this. He just poured it out. Boom,
Mm.
never does the stuff again. And he's probably like what 6 7 years sober on it. But with that being low, big dog, let's get into what you're doing now, dog. I mean, what do you do now? What do you do for a living, homie?
For a living, I work, man. I gotta get my money. Yeah, man. I work at a good place that I like. It's a wonderful place. I like it. I like my job, man. I'm a forklift driver. You know what I'm saying? I work at a pet food place. You know what I'm saying? They make dog food. I work at a dog food place. Um, I love my job, man. It's a good job. You know what I'm saying? A wonderful job for me. You know what I'm saying? I like it. I like forklift driving. And we have a yard dog out there. We have to back up our own trailers to our dog for us to load our dog food. So it's kind of cool, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna start getting used to that too. You know what I mean? You never know. I might be on the road.
Join join the battlefield, homie. Join the
Yeah.
battlefield.
Keep
So
it
when I
between the
was,
lines, right? Keep it between the
that's right,
lines.
big dog. Rubber side down, driver. Hey, big dog. So okay, so
Yeah.
you make pet food.
Yeah, they bag it, they process it there, they package it there, put it in the bags, and we ship it out. Yes, sir.
Let's okay. Let's talk about dog food. I have a dog myself, right?
Right.
Before we wrap it up, let's talk about dog food itself, dog.
Mhm.
Okay, it's all processed stuff. Now, dogs are really supposed to be eating raw flesh and gain the nutrients from the blood of the kill and everything.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about dog food? What's the worst dog food? What's the best dog food? Um, you seeing there? It's being made. What can you recommend, dog?
Well, what I say from what I like, what I feed my dog would be the salmon one. The salmon, and it's all for all walks, all walks, all dogs, all ages. The salmon one is pretty good for them salmon. And then on the, it's just, beef is good. If you want to get your dog, put weight on your dog. Beef is good. The ingredients, the beef ingredients. Chicken's good too. Really when you get your bag of dog food and you look at the first ingredients is on there is what it is. I recommend salmon for my dog. I like giving my dog salmon. You know what I mean? The salmon, and that they got all kinds of different dogs food. There's expensive, vary from expensive to non-expensive, but you want to treat your dog right. You know what I mean? You don't want to feed them something that's not good. And my experience in having my dogs, I have a pit bull, so pit bull breed, you know what I mean? I like giving the salmon, bro. That's what I recommend if you have a pit bull breed, because I got a pit bull breed, you know what I mean? And salmon's the way I go with him, and he loves it, bro. But sometimes I will change his food sometimes, and I'll go to beef, because beef, like I said, if you want to get your dog put more weight on your dog, beef will get it. But like I always say, if you get a bag of dog food, look at the first ingredients on there, and it says ingredients. The first one on there is going to be it. So if you get back to dog foods that say this and that and this, just turn it around, and you're going to see it says the ingredients right there is the real ingredients. The first one it says there. And that's how you go
Okay.
about your dog food.
Is there a difference from the dog food from the brands like Kibble and Pedigree, and what is there a difference between those?
It sure is. There's a big difference between brands. Some brands, like you got some that really get into their dog food. They really it's really really good. Some of them, some brands have been there for years, for so long that their dog food is so good. From the 70s. Some dog food brands ain't, they're just put together. It's not really, what I mean. It's just it's some. I mean, yeah, some are cheaper some are not up to par as other, for sure, for sure. You gotta, like I said, you gotta get into your ingredients and get into what, you gotta do research on what you want to give your dog. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, again, comes down to the ingredients and all that stuff again. But yes, it does come down to what dog place is it, or what dog food you're getting. And the more expensive, you know it's not necessary to, you don't have to get a hat of expensive one. You can get one in the middle, but you got to find that right one for your dog. How you want to treat your dog. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a dog loving person, you're going to get your dog the top. you know just do a lot of research. But yeah, does really matter. There is cheap dog food.
What
It's not gonna
what
lie.
what is okay? What is the major difference between wet dog food and dry dog food?
Wet dog food is for, I'd say wet dog food would be for like older dogs, because, like, as they get older, it gets harder for them to eat, harder for them to versus them eating hard dog food. You know what I mean? So you give them wet dog food, it's better for them to eat. The older dogs, it's easier for them to eat. You know what I'm saying? As versus of a young teenager dog, or a young dog, or a young adult dog, they can chew it up easy. You know what I'm saying? So the wet dog food is, for me, for, I would say, for like the older dogs, so it's not so hard for them to eat. You know what I'm talking about? Because after a while, they get older, and it gets harder for them to eat sometimes. You know what I mean? For some dogs, you know what I mean? And so the wet dog food will do better for you. For like others, some dogs, their snort is like really pushed in. Some are not, some of them are not longer than others. So wet dog would do better for them. You know what I mean? And that's basically what it is for the wet dog food.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes it
See,
easier to eat.
yeah, my dog, she's up there in age, man. She just turned 12, so she's getting up there in age. I switched to salmon after having that conversation with you. I
Yeah,
switched to salmon, and I'm like, okay, cool. You know what? She likes it. She likes it, but she's up there in age, man.
yeah,
Hopefully she keeps kicking and screaming. I try to take her out for walks as much as I possibly can, and
yeah. I
keep
hear you.
the joints and the body moving, dog. So, but she sleeps a lot now. So, man, Bean Lokester, hey, big
So,
dog, man, Holmes, this was a good conversation, homie. I always enjoy chopping it up with you, man. You know what, in
sure.
person, or whenever we get a chance to see each other in person, dog, and
Oh yeah.
I really appreciate you, Holmes. But hey, man, anything else you want to say? Any last words? Any shout outs? Anything, dog? Anything, homie? The floor is yours, big dog.
All right. You know what it is, people. Like I say, man. You get one life, one body. Stay one soul, one heart. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is, or what you're going through, or whatever's happening, man. But Jesus is there, going to be there for you at all times, man. All you got to have in your life is Jesus' love for you guys. That's all I got to say. That message goes out to all you guys out there. Remember, man, our Father is there for you, and He'll never forget about you. So if you have anything, like I always say, man, Jesus is going to be there for you. Give it to Jesus, man, and always have Him in your heart, and mean it with your heart. That's my message to you guys out there. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, He'll never leave you alone. Believe that, my peoples. Gracias.
That is my boy, my brother, the one Bean Lokester. Cholo Trucker, as always, live your life like you're on the road. Be where surroundings and always keep a safe distance. Blood, make sure you live below to mix family. Till next time, this is Ed the Cholo Trucker for my man, Bean Loc. Over and out.
Gracias. Gracias, my people.